What is this? Is it a bike? It looks like a bike, but could you ride it? When you take a second to look even closer, you may discover that instead of this being a bike, it's the illusion of a bike. It's the idea of a bike. There's cardboard, circles, lines, organic forms, color, proportion, there's balance, there's texture, but it is not a bike. If you take a look at the Mona Lisa on the left or the sculpture by Alexander Calder on the right, both of these things represent ideas. That is not actually Mona Lisa on the canvas, it's paint. That's not actually a spider on the right. It's forms that we may associate with a spider, but it is not a spider. Artists are masters at creating illusions for their viewers. All artwork is composed of what are called the elements of design: texture, line, space, value, form, shape, and color. The Mona Lisa would not exist on this page if the artist didn't choose the right elements of design to represent her. If you take a look at the cardboard sculptures from our challenge last week, you will see that you all worked along what's called the Continuum of Representation. The sculpture all the way on the left, the artist chose to not represent a form. And if you move through all the way to the thumb on the right, that artist did try to create an illusion to represent a bike or a hand. The hand is called realistic. The eyes in the middle that are like eyes, we see eyes, but they're not 100% realistic, are called abstract. They're changed just a little bit. And then the sculpture on the left, this is non-objective. It does not refer to anything realistic. The artist used form and movement to create the idea. If we look at professional artists, we see this painting on the left by Maya Freelon as non-objective, the middle painting by Adrian Gainey as abstract, and the painting on the right by Amy Sherrill as realism. Let's take a closer look. Realism. A lot of people think that artwork is just realism. You look at these 4 paintings made in different times in our world, and they all represent realistic things. The artist tries to replicate the world around them. They focus on things like light and shadow, perspective, creating believable textures. The artist becomes a master of how to represent the illusion of a realistic form on the surface. These paintings and drawings are abstractions. A lot of times in abstraction, you can still see the form that it began with. All 4 of these started with a face, but through fragmentation, exaggeration, simplification, the artist manipulates the image. Usually this is for a purpose of expression. The original subject is usually visible in the end, but to different degrees. Finally, non-objective art, the type of representation that is most misunderstood by the public. Non-objective art usually comes not from reality, no recognizable people, places, or things. It's simply lines, shapes, colors, etc. Some people call this art for art's sake, art, art about making an image. If we take a look again at the continuum of representation, you can see that this is not individual boxes that they only fit into, each of these only fits into. They can definitely waver between realism and abstraction, or between abstraction and non-objectivity. So the next time you say you're not an artist, I want you to think about what art actually is. All art is an illusion, all people can put a line on a page and create something. Maybe you just need to expand your idea of what an artistic image could look like.